Welcome to the Lightwalker's Path. Grow your spirit with Rosemary. In this show, Rosemary creates a safe place to nurture your inner light, ask questions, develop new insights, and find your soul's purpose. So please welcome the host of Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary DeTrolio.
Good morning. This is Rosemary, host of the Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary, on Bold Brave TV, streaming on multiple platforms. Join me every Tuesday at 10 Eastern to develop insights and your soul's purpose. The Lightwalker's Path has enlightening discussions and inspiration and fabulous guests that I know. And we are streaming on replays for YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many streaming platforms. So please, our call-in number is also working today. So if you have a question for my guest or I, please feel free to call in. Today, I have a fabulous guest and a good friend of mine, Bee Calm Reiki with Gina Tupaczewski. She's a Reiki Master Teacher specializing in animal Reiki for people and pets. And she is a wonderful person, and you will love her. She's a New Jersey resident. Welcome, Gina. Hi, Gina.
Hi, Rosemary.
How are
Thank you
you?
for having me. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. So I wanted to, before we start, I wanted to give you some props because you've done some great work with my animals. And I wanted to let you know that Tina and I did what you told us. And I brought her up to my office and I showed her around. And we went for a lake walk because she asked for that as well. And she's very happy. So I want you to talk about your Reiki journey, just like what brought you to your Reiki journey and why did you choose to use it? So that's where we're going to start today, okay?
Sure. So, I've known you for many, many years now, and we taught together. So one of the things that brought me to that Reiki journey was a little light bulb that was over my head that you saw,
Yep.
and you led me to begin the Reiki journey. And so basically, I knew that I wanted to do something else and I wanted to learn something else. And that something else was Reiki, because at the time I was home with my daughter. I had stopped teaching and I was looking for something else to do, something else to learn and grow. And so in learning Reiki, it helped me to help heal myself as well as be able to share it with others.
Right. We've known each other a long time. We were teachers together. So Gina was a wonderful teacher with me, and we shared that way. And what's exciting for me is to see how you've grown through your journey and learning the different levels. And now you are a master teacher, and you're masterful in your own right, and you're a powerful force. So that's been exciting for me. We've done workshops together and lots of fun things to help other people.
Oh yeah,
Um,
and I want to add that you taught me Reiki. You're my master teacher. So when you're looking for someone to learn Reiki from, you want to have an energy that matches your teacher. So that was one of the things. So in the journey, I went from Reiki 1 to Reiki 2, and once you learn Reiki 2, you have to decide whether you're going to make it your life as a light worker. And so that's what I wanted to do. So I went to master level and master teacher with you as well.
yeah. And you're an A+ student. You're an A+ student, let me put it that way. Yeah. So what's cool about it is you took it in a direction that is so unique to you, which is your work with animals. And I wanted you to talk about, I know you work with all kinds of animals, including horses. So I want you to mention something about your horse journey and why it's part of your animal Reiki as well right now.
Sure. When I was growing up, I had the opportunity to be around horses because my aunt had a farm, and she always had all kinds of different animals. And one of the things that I was lucky enough to have was a pony, and his name was Chance. And so we called him Chance because we rescued him. We were taking a chance on his life. So that began my horse journey. So I had a pony named Chance, and I had a horse named Harley, and I did pony club. And that meant that I did competitions and all kinds of things with the knowledge of the horses. So not only was I a rider, I was also knowledgeable about their personalities. And as you know, every animal has their own personality. So
Hmm.
having that background helped me to be able to work with them as well with Reiki, because they're very intuitive, and they'll
Hmm.
actually put their body parts that are bothering the most into my hands.
Very cool. I know that I've seen you work, and I've also seen you with like my pet before she passed, and you gave me messages from her as well, when she was in that end stage. So, what are some of the things that like animals want their owners to know? Is there like a certain thing that you've noticed that when you work with pets, they really want their owners to know or to feel?
Oh, absolutely. Animals love us unconditionally, and they just want to tell us that they love us and they want to help us in any way possible. And so their main goal is to just share that love. And so a lot of times the messages will come through, and a pet parent might want to know what about their past. And most of the time, the animals don't want to share that because they just want to share how much they feel loved and how much they love their new owner for saving them.
Right. It's all about the now, especially with dogs, right? It's like right
Yes,
now. Want to talk about
yes,
then, about now. That was
exactly.
definitely Rainy. She did not want to talk about before the rescue. She's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. I just want
Nope,
now. No.
nope. I just want to talk about my pet parents, and they're wonderful, and they give me treats, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find too, like if an animal is in distress, oftentimes it's holding distress from the owner. Do you find that connection often when you work with a pet parent and the pet? Do you find there's
Yeah,
a connection?
there's definitely a connection because I meet my Reiki clients two ways. One, if they're searching for something else to help their pet, or if they're in a state of unbalance. So
Hmm.
with the pets, the usually the pet parent will be like, "Oh, I have tried everything. Let me just try Reiki." And at the time, it's all about just bringing balance to your body and to their body. And so when I'm sharing a session with the animal, they'll often tell me my mom needs it too. And so I'll
Hmm.
invite mom to come into the bubble as well. So, or
That's
dad.
So you don't have to be in someone's space to do your animal work. Is that correct?
That absolutely, that is correct. I can do long distance Reiki, and I also share something which is I call a heart to heart connection with
Hmm.
with the pet. So what
I
I do is I establish a loving heart to heart connection, and then in that, since I'm in the animal's energy, they'll tell me things, but it's not always guaranteed. And so in that process, it's all about sharing, and they'll share what they want to share with me, and then I'll share the energy back to them.
I love that. And I know you've done that for my pets as well. And I know that you get it really cool information. I remember when you worked with Sky, you told me that she loves oranges. And you don't know how much this dog loves oranges because I never told you. But she would go in the kitchen and dash in on her little old legs. And whenever she smelt an orange, she'd want one. So she loves oranges. And you didn't know that when you did the heart to heart with her. And she's like, Mommy, give me oranges. You
Yes,
know, thought that was very funny because you told me things that I never told you that I knew were unique to my dog, which was pretty cool.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes the pet parents keep their treats in like different places. And
Hmm.
one time I was working with a dog, and he kept looking at the top of the refrigerator. I was like, "Why
Hmm.
are you showing me the top of the refrigerator?" And then when I shared with the parent, they were like, "Oh, that's where we keep the cookies."
Yes, yes. Yeah, and I know us too. Like I think that came up with one of my pets too. It's like you said, why is she looking there? But it's because that's whenever, she wanted something, she would jump and then she'd look up to where we keep those special things she liked, which was pretty
Yep.
fun.
Sure.
Yeah. I know you also do Reiki on people. And do you find sometimes when you're working with the pet, they'll say work with my mother or my father? Or do you just start with the parent and then the animal comes in? So what's that connection for you?
So when I've been working with a pet parent for a while, they might what will come in the energy field is the pet may be like, "Oh, I need Reiki too," or vice versa. They'll
Hmm.
start out with doing Reiki on their pet for a while, and then I'll say, mom needs it too. And I'll invite that pet parent to come to my home because I'm able to do Reiki in my home as well as do long distance. So if you're local, then I'm in Long Valley. So.
Right. And I know that you also do long distance Reiki even on people, so it allows you to access people all over the United States if they're interested, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay. I know with your heart to heart connection, I know people might be interested, like, how do you do that? So, like, do you put yourself in a meditative state? How do you establish this connection with the pet?
Sure. So basically what I do as far as when you're sending Reiki to a pet is you actually have to check in with them the day before just to see if they're ready and willing to accept the Reiki. And if they
Hmm.
aren't, then that's a part of the setup and of the appointment because sometimes they're just not willing to accept it that day. But once we've established that acceptance and they're ready to have the Reiki, I go into a meditative state, which is just grounding myself and centering myself. And then I open up my heart. And it's similar to how like a lotus would bloom or a petal would bloom, sending out a color. And depending on what color I'm drawn to, most of the time it's light pink. And so
Hmm.
I'll send an energetic cord from my heart to their heart. So it's like visually, you could think of it as like this cord just going straight to their heart. And
Hmm.
once we've established that connection, I'll begin to sense different parts of their body where they might need healing. And that's where the Reiki comes in as well.
Very cool. Very, very interesting. Let me just check the time. Okay, we're still good. All right. So I know that animals communicate different ways. Do you find like energy of, let's say, a horse feeling very different than the energy of a dog or a cat? Like their personality, is it personality or is it like the energy generally of an animal is different than another animal, or does it not matter?
It depends on the animal. There's been a few where, especially when I worked with Sky, a dog, your dog, she comes across as this royal princess, and she has
That's
this
her.
energy that just
Woo!
alludes, like you know, they're my peons, like
Oh,
I'm above
definitely.
them, and they,
Yes.
they grant me my wishes type energy,
Yes.
and so then
Absolutely.
there's horses that sometimes will be um kind of like you would visualize like a joker, like they have a lot of energy and they're very playful, or
Yeah.
other times they feel like an old soul where they're kind of just be like, well, thank you, and just very formal and just so it depends on the personality of the pet, and
Okay.
usually the owner knows their pet so well that they'll kind of confirm what personality that I get.
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting because I know with Sky you did pick up that she does think she's the princess of the house. And when we got the little one, who's a she's a little fireball, she was kind of incensed because now this creature has arrived in my home, and now she's getting attention and not me, the royal queen. So she was a little dethroned. I think she was a little bit with her nose out of joint when we first got the baby. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
Tina has a sweet personality, kind of like a little hyper child that asks tons of questions and just wants to know everything.
And that's her so much. She's so inquisitive. I could bring her anywhere. She's like, "What's that? What's that? What's that?" And she'll look at everything and sniff everything. And she's intelligent. I think that's a sign of like an intelligent dog. And
Mhm.
she's a fireball of energy. So
Oh yeah,
unless she gets her walks and her playtime, she'll be a little nudge. She'll be like poking at Sky and jumping on her and bopping her in the nose, whatever she can do to get her inspired.
sure, sure.
All right. I wanted to also, and we might have to do this after the break, which is coming up pretty soon, but I want you to think about, like, I know as pet owners, the hardest part of owning a pet is knowing when it's near their end of lifetime and our decisions and our guilt letting them go. So I want you to think about that. And what advice would you give a pet parent when, let's say, an animal is really ill and needs to pass? Does the animal feel bad? Is it just the human? Like, what would you tell the pet owner in cases like that?
Sure. Um, Oftentimes, the animal needs that permission to go, because they
Okay.
stay as long as they can. And
Okay.
once that permission is given, then they want to just make sure that, their mom or dad is okay. Sometimes they will, they'll just, if you have more bad days than good days,
Yeah.
that it's coming near. Because
Yeah.
when our pets get older, it's not always a sign that they're ready to pass. They're just slowing down and they're getting older. But when the bad days outweigh the good days, then you know that it's time to make a decision. And usually your pet will tell you it's time to say goodbye, mom. Like, you'll get this like
Feeling.
sensation of peace that you're ready to let go, but it's still heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah. I know that's happened when I lost Jay, the cat, and you were with me the day that I had to put her down. I was so heartbroken because I was so close to that animal, but I just knew like she kind of let me know like today's the day. And
Hmm.
and with Rain, I mean we were heartbroken, but she just looked at us and she said to me, "I'm done. I need to pass." And it was still like my husband and I both cried about it for ages, and she was an angel, but
Oh,
that's the
she,
hardest part of a pet.
she's such a special dog, little
Yeah,
Rain. Yeah.
yeah. Full of love. Talk about like a heart-centered dog that just teaches you love and joy. She was just a joyful dog. And I
Yes,
think they all have something for us, right? They all teach us something.
they
Uh,
do. They do.
yeah. Okay, we're coming up on a commercial break. So this is the Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. My guest is Gina from Bee Calm Reiki, and I want you to stay with us. Call in if you have a question for either of us, and we'll be right back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Hi, this is the Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. And my guest today is Gina Tupaczewski from New Jersey. And her business is Bee Calm Reiki, Gina Tupaczewski. And we were talking before the break about our connection with animals and when an animal passes and such. So I want you to think about some clients and some success stories you've had either with pets or with people where you've guided them either with people Reiki or animal Reiki.
Sure. So along the journey, I'm always humbled to have my clients find me. It's just this beautiful experience. It's like, wow, I can do that for you. I can help you. And so one that comes to mind was a pet parent who was very concerned with their cat, and they wasn't sure what was going on with the cat. Just wanted to just try out Reiki and invited me to their home. So when I arrived, she told me, she's like, my cat's afraid of everything. It will not pay attention to you. Just do your thing. And, I totally trust Reiki. Now, meanwhile, the cat had other ideas of what Reiki was all about, because I sat in the middle of the floor, and sure enough, the cat who the parent said, never going to see you, never going to come near you, comes right and like sits right in front of me. And as I'm creating the Reiki bubble for animals, it's a little bit different, but you ask permission, you ask them to come into the energy. So she kind of stepped into the energy, and I'm just sharing the Reiki and just kind of encouraging the cat to tell me what's going on, if there's anything that's bothering, that kind of stuff. And sure enough, I started to feel sensations. Either I feel it in my body, or they present a picture for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I saw was pain in the teeth of the cat. And I was like, I immediately asked the owner, I'm like, are there any teeth pain? Because she was watching from the other room.
Oh, cool.
And so I look, I'm not in any trance or anything when I share Reiki. I'm always, awake and open. And I do it in like 15 minutes. Like I'm there for an hour or so, but I do it in like 15 minutes. And then I kind of stop sending and see what the animal wants to do.
Okay.
And so as she shared, oh yes, we just had teeth pulled for this cat, then it was confirmation for me, but then it was the other side that I was feeling. So she's like, oh, I need to probably take her back to the vet.
Oh, so gosh.
That was one of the ones for a pet that comes to mind. Another one was when I was kind of moving through my Reiki journey and practicing with animals. And this one was actually outside. So in sharing Reiki, you start to develop this communication where you start to hear the animals' voices. So I was sitting outside, and I was just kind of, being very happy that I was out in nature and not knowing any animals were around, but the Reiki kind of brought them in with the energy. So I saw a buck, and the buck, I was talking to the buck kind of out loud, also in my head saying, you need to go because my dog wants to come out. He wants to come out because I have to, I have to take him out for, to do his business. And the buck's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And I'm like, okay. So sure enough, the reason why the buck wasn't going anywhere is there were 2 baby fawns in the hedgerow. And so then the buck brought the fawns out, and then he took them away. And my dog was able to go out there, but didn't chase the fawns or anything. So it was my first kind of sharing where, wow, they're talking to me,
Yeah, that's
that
cute.
song comes in my head. If I could talk to the animals.
Yeah, I was just thinking Dr. Dolittle.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Well, I know you also work with people. Have you had any interesting connections or shifts or changes with clients that have worked with you just for people Reiki?
Sure. When I share Reiki with clients, I always tell them to try Reiki for 3 sessions. Mm-hmm. At the end of 3 sessions, there's a shift. There's something that happens. And most of the time they come just to try it out because they're stressed. And so when you have a stressed body, there's different places where you're sharing the energy from head to toe, your energy centers. And sometimes they'll heat up or they'll become cold or vibrate. And at this time I was working on the client's heart. And all of a sudden she just had this big emotional release of trying to just let go. And so that was the indication that Reiki was working for her, and she was having a release of energy. My camera's kind of, I don't know about yours.
Yeah, we're glitching a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know if but we're glitching. Hopefully people can still hear us. Caleb, can you still hear us? All right, keep going. All right, cool. All right, we're fine. Cool. We're just a little fuzzy. Okay.
Yeah, we're just a little fuzzy. Yeah,
just a little
it's all that energy between the 2 of us coming in. You know how watches don't work.
Yeah, we're blasting it. Okay, so I know that you teach both animal Reiki and people Reiki. So my question for you is, when you're teaching people that don't want to work with people at all, and they just want to work with animals, and they want to learn Reiki, what is your? We're back, and hopefully we're not glitching anymore. we were saying our combined Reiki energy just blew up the internet. So, oh man. All right. Just another day, right? Okay. So we were talking about when you're teaching animal Reiki and someone does not want to work with people at all, and they say, come to you, say, Gina, I don't know anything about Reiki, but I want to learn it just for animals. How would you go about training a person? Do they have to be in your space during the class? And what is your process with that?
So for that, I created a combination for animal Reiki, meaning when you get to be able to work with animals, your energy needs to be clear. So usually you have to take Reiki 1, which is all about for yourself, Reiki 2, and then you go on to Reiki for animals. But what I
Right.
did is I combined the Reiki 1 and 2, and it's just for animals. So I do not show the positions for people. I just talk about sharing Reiki with your animals. And there's certain hand positions and different things that our animals have. They have an extra energy field in their feet. And I teach things like that in the course.
Hmm.
In the first session, you can do it via Zoom, which
Hmm.
I am able to have about 4 people on so I can give them the individual attention that they need. But I do need to have you come to my home for your attunement, which
Right.
means the exchange of Reiki to open up your ability to channel the Reiki.
Yes. Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm so glad that you have that opportunity for people because I know through the years some people will say, I don't want to work on people. I just want to work with pets. What do I do? So I'm glad that you have that service available for people and it's a wonderful thing. And I also love that you, like me, we only attune in person. You can't learn Reiki on the internet, guys. You have to
Right.
be in person because we transfer the energy and open your healing channel, and we've got to be in your energy field to do it properly. And I know you and I have both retrained people that were badly trained or learned it too quick or didn't know what the heck they were doing because they didn't learn it the way that is complete and correct for them, right?
Exactly. And adding
Yeah.
to that with the animal Reiki, you're committed to 6 months, meaning you'll learn the first session, and then 3 to 6 months later, I'll teach you the second session because you have to have time for the energy to balance your body and things. Because basically, what happens when you're attuned to Reiki is your energy is increased. And so
Yes.
you need to be able to ground that energy.
Hmm.
And so
Yes.
in that time frame of waiting the 3 to 6 months, so if you want to learn animal Reiki with me, it's a commitment of at least 6 months because I
Yes.
won't teach you the second part where you're actually doing the hands-on or sharing Reiki with animals until after that.
That's true. I know a lot of people want to like zippy dip through everything. And, I also, when I taught you, I said 3 to 6 months. And at first, like even when I learned it, like way back when, I'm like, well, why do I have to wait? And then she says you have to wait to integrate, so,
Yes.
and it's so vital. I know too that a lot of psychic gifts open up when you do Reiki. Even on people, when you're up to level 2, man, everything starts moving around and all those gifts you have start opening. And I know when I first trained you way a long time ago, when I told you to be talking to animals, you looked at me like I was out of my mind. So
Yes.
I want you to explain, like for you, when you started to understand that you can connect with pets and animals in this different way. Just talk about that because I know that in the beginning, like you were like, that's never going to happen. I'm not going to do that. And that was years ago, right?
Yeah. It's interesting how your journey just unfolds. Like at the
Mhm.
time when I learned Reiki, I was just learning it for myself. I had no idea that I was going to make a profession out of it, as far as, and then in turn be able to share it with animals. But my love of animals has always been there, and so combining the two was just a natural progression. But at the time, I fought it because how can I hear what they're saying? Like what do I do? How do I know it's not my thoughts? And it's
Yes,
similar to how you're just listening for that inner voice that's not yours. It's
that's
that
right.
your guidance, your higher self. And
Yes,
so we'll kind of join with your higher self and just share. And it has to be these impulse thoughts that come in, and you just have to trust. And the more you practice, the better you are. And then it's interesting at the time you're doing it, you're like, you want to know if it's right, but you won't get any confirmation until you're secure in that information. And then all of a sudden that confirmation comes in.
Absolutely true. And I know, too, when you, let's say, like I'm talking for myself too, if let's say I'm not in a good place or I'm tired, something will cancel that I'm supposed to teach or do. If I don't listen to that intuition right away, like, oh, I should, reschedule, something will happen where I can't do that. I can't do that class because I'm not supposed to. It's like the universe is there to kind of take care of us and guide us. And also the things that you fear and the things that you're afraid to do, those are exactly the things that you're going to be set up to do. Right, Gina?
Oh yes, yes. That my angels and God, there's such a sense of humor with when it comes to trusting the process and it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Yes, you are. And
Yep,
oh,
sorry.
okay.
Here it is.
Here it is. Here it is. And when I knew that Reiki was a part of my journey, it was actually I was my parents were coming to get me because the car had broken down, and so I was like, well, it hasn't started or whatever. And so my mom just goes, well, do Reiki on it. And it was like, okay, sure. So I did Reiki on it, and then the car started enough to get it to the mechanic. So that's when I knew that the family accepted what I do too.
That's so funny. My master teacher always said that when the copier machine went down at her work, she'd Reiki it. And I'm like, really? You Reiki'd a copy machine? But I'll tell you, one time my computer went down and I was working on a new book, and I had like this huge document, and the darn thing crashed. My whole computer went black. And I'm freaking out like, I don't know how to fix this. So I Reiki'd it real quick. I said a few prayers, and I went back to it and started writing. And one of the words that popped up that I didn't write, and I'll tell you I did not write this, the word fear came up. And I'm like, what? Because I didn't have my faith that everything would be okay. But I also learned how to back up files too. So those tech people, my son would be like rolling his eyes like, Mom, you got to back up everything or your stuff will be lost.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, it's funny how that happens.
Because I know as far as with the animals, the more and more I work with them, the more and more they'll share their thoughts and things. And I have 3 rescue pets. I have a dog and 2 cats. And sometimes people are allergic to animals, so they're not always allowed in the Reiki room.
Yeah, yeah.
They love the energy. So they're just sitting outside the door waiting to come in.
Oh, that's so cute.
And they want the Reiki just as much as everybody else does. So,
yeah. Do you find too that have you had any, like I know you've worked with a lot of pets that have an owner and they want to tell them something, but the owner is resistant. So after you do a Reiki session, how do you communicate with the pet owner to give information for your heart to heart or your Reiki session? Like what would be the thing that you would do for the pet owner after?
well, depending on why they're asking for Reiki, whether it just be just because they want to give something else to their pet, which is a lot of reasons why people kind of seek Reiki for their pets. Like they just love them unconditionally. So they just want to share that too.
Yeah.
But oftentimes I could get a message and it's just important for me to just convey the message. It's not a question of me to judge it or anything else. It's just what their little guy wanted to tell them.
That's so cute. Do you also find too, like I know in the beginning, I'm telling you this because of the channeling that I do. When I first started channeling back in '93, I would accept the information, but I wouldn't ask questions if I didn't understand something. Do you find when you are working with a pet now, you're doing more like, hello, pet, what can you tell me? Do you like guide the conversation a little bit to get more from the pet if they're quiet?
Yeah. And that has evolved over the journey. In the beginning, I would just kind of wait patiently to hear what I could hear. And it would just be like a little tiny voice, like, hello, how are you?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. But now it's like, oh, mom wants to know why you're not using the outdoors for the bathroom rather than the indoors, something like that, specific questions. And whatever first comes in, because talking about the one dog, the dog was like, well, I don't want to get my feet wet. Like that was like this answer. And it was so funny.
It's more convenient to pee on the floor, like, yes, her indoor plumbing.
Exactly. And it's so funny because they have such a personality. They just don't, see it. Because some there was one family I had where it was multiple animals in the home, and they just called me out for one particular animal. And so it was like 3 cats and 2 dogs or something like that. And they said, "Oh, you're just here for Samson." It's like, "Oh, okay. Well, your other pets have different ideas. They don't know that you've only paid
Yeah,
for one session and this is all
right.
you're
Hey, we're
doing."
getting it too.
Yeah, we're getting it too. And
That's
one time when
awesome.
I went to a barn, I was there for one horse, and the horse was out in the field, and I was sharing Reiki, just kind of sending the energy out, and the whole herd came in.
Oh, I
So
love. I actually watched it. That was fascinating when we took our little trip, and all of a sudden the animals start coming toward you. You're like, it was so weird. It's like all the animals like, "Hey, Gina's here," and they were just walking toward you. That was
yep.
cool. Have you worked with any like unusual like farm animal pets or anything like that besides horses and cats and dogs? Have you had any experience, or I know clients usually will call you for an actual in-house pet, but have you
Yeah.
worked with any other kind of pets that were strange or different?
Sure. I worked with some to a parakeet in a cage, and it was
Oh,
long distance.
oh,
And
cool.
the parakeet was very stressed, and it was constantly picking out its feathers. And
Hmm.
so we just kind of shared a conversation that it was worried about mom because mom was having a lot of health issues at the time. So once
Uh,
once we were able to communicate that mom was okay and he could be
yeah,
okay, and it was over a period of about a month that I shared Reiki with him energetically, long distance. And so that was the first time where it was a bird because
yeah,
I was like, well, sure, I can do it. And at the time I was like, I wonder if I can, that journey,
yeah.
but the parakeet didn't pluck its feathers after that. Like it was able to just kind of,
Yeah.
just talk to mom and hang out with mom and be better. So
Oh, that's great. I know Sky really wanted to ride in the car. You had told me she wanted to ride with Daddy in the car, and he had taken her for a ride the next day after you told us. And boy, that dog was so happy. People were petting her. She loved it. So yeah, that was really cool. We actually have some people putting in the chat here. We have Solomon, Sangu, and Mariam saying hello to us. Hi, everybody.
hello.
Welcome. And our call-in number is also working. So if someone has an issue with their pet, or if you want to ask either one of us something, you can certainly call in. And the other thing I was going to say, Gina, is we're coming up on fireworks times. What advice can you give pet owners for nervous dogs or pets during the time of fireworks?
Well, I know they have a couple of different things out there as far as they call it like a safety sheet or something. It's just to combine them and
Yeah,
allow them to be safe. So if they have the dining room table, if you kind of pull out a chair so they can go under it and just kind of feel
like a tent.
safe. Yep, a tent or a cover. Because I know with my dog, he was afraid of thunder, similar to your fireworks. We would just kind of pull out the towels at the bottom of the closet and allow him to go in there. So they
Yeah,
want to find someplace safe. It's very important to make sure when you do have fireworks, you're very cautious when you're going out. You want to make sure they're leashed, and because
right.
otherwise they're just going to run in fear, and
Yeah,
they'll jump a fence, they'll do whatever they can to get away from it. So
yeah. I know that you've also helped to locate some pets that were lost. So I know you don't count that as one of your services, but I know people will ask you. So when a pet is lost, how do you, like, what do you do? Do you go into like, even if you haven't met the pet, you go into like the mind of the pet and like look at what they're looking at? Is that how you
yeah,
find that or get a
it's
clue?
interesting when it was the first approach to find a lost pet. My first instinct was to go to where the pet was. So it was in my town, so I was able to go, and I just kind of sent out Reiki energy, calling it home, like just kind of,
Yeah,
mom wants you to come home. It's safe.
yeah,
But in the meantime, I actually do something called remote viewing. I'll
mm,
actually look through their eyes and see where they've been, but it's not real time. That's the one thing that's different.
yeah,
It's not like I'm looking through the cat's eyes and they're right there underneath the deck. Go find them. It's
yeah,
they were underneath the deck or they were by the river. And so I
Yeah.
can kind of like track where they were or where they went. And
Mhm.
that was confirmed with, I don't consider myself a pet psychic, but that was confirmed with a pet psychic who actually was talking to the pet parent and kind of like in that whole big communication thing. So
That's super cool. That's
it's
super cool.
it's very humbling to see where the pet is. Like if he's crouched down and scared. There was a time where I found a dog who was crouched down and scared, and I just told him like, you need to be seen. People are out there looking
Yeah.
for you. Make yourself be seen. And with an hour later, I got a phone call that said, "Oh, it seemed like they came out of nowhere, and there they
I
were."
love that. Yes. Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay. I know that you like me, were a teacher. So how did your former teaching training help you to do what you do now for your business? Like, what are some of the skills that you brought from teaching into what you do now?
Well, I know the main skill, and which I also got from you, was just being organized as a teacher to be able to take my student from where they are to where they're going to be. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in having the materials and having the organization, I also do teach classes. There's a couple of different classes that I've taught in the past. I know we did one with rocks and crystals.
Yeah, that
That
was fun.
was a lot of fun. In addition to that, being a teacher, you're multitasking.
Mm-hmm.
So because I was able to learn about being grounded and being centered, I could still multitask with getting the information coming in and being able to sort it out and figure out whether it's coming from me or it's coming from the pet to be able to share it with the pet parent.
Absolutely. And I think even the sense of like clear communication is something that you have to do when you're teaching. And I find that helps me a great deal when I'm dealing with a client to understand what they need and then be able to translate it into how it can help them. So I know that that has helped you too because you're a very good communicator. What are some of the unique things that you bring that, let's say for your pet work or Reiki work that's unique to you? What are some unique things that you can bring to the table? Because I know that, everybody picks who they want to work with, but I want you to tell me some things about you that you want people to know.
Um, I'm very compassionate. Like I feel the person's energy, and I'm willing to help them.
Hmm.
As far as animals, they seem to find me, and they're all just asking for help. So if you're working with your dog or your cat and you're finding there's a behavioral issue, I would like to be able. I feel I could tap in and help you to understand that condition. As
Very
far as
good.
working with people, um, it's my personality. I feel like I'm very caring and giving. And so if you're looking for someone who is able to give you that as well as help you on your path, like I call it a Reiki journey or Reiki path because this may just be a little stepping stone to where you're headed. And
Hmm.
so, in stopping in and visiting for a little while or becoming a client who wants that de stressing, calm once a month, something like that, then
Yes.
I can offer that as well.
Yeah, I do know when people are both receiving Reiki or on this journey, it truly is a journey because as you learn about yourself, like first level, you're dropping off all of the old, almost like karma and stuff bubbles up, and it helps people to move ahead. It's like a jump start to their spiritual journey. So I've even trained people that didn't want to work on people at all, but they just want to grow spiritually. And so
Mhm.
I've trained maybe up to level two, and that's all they wanted. I just want to learn to level two. I don't want to work on anybody. And then sometimes they come back to learn more, and sometimes they just want to grow in that aspect. What other courses or things can do you offer? I know you have a discovery session if someone has questions. Is that true?
I do. Yep. So a discovery session would be a Zoom call, and we set up a 30-minute, just a Bee Calm chat is what I call it on my website. And
Hmm.
so it's all about just seeing how what my services could do for you or your pet.
Right, that's really good. And I know that you had other courses. I know you mainly teach the Reiki. but I know you have some other things that you were working on as well. Do you want to mention any other courses or workshops that you have or may have in the future?
Um, one of the things that I'm working on as far as with the animal Reiki is helping one develop their intuition and being able to communicate with their own pet,
Mm-hmm.
feelings, emotions, things like that. But in order to do that, you need to be grounded and centered. So everyone's already on some kind of journey to do that. And so I
Yeah.
have an introductory class that kind of taps in a little bit of everything with you. I'll teach you a meditation. I'll
Nice.
teach you books that I like to read. I've read many books by Dr. Wayne Dyer. So
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy him. And then we'll do some kind of relaxation or meditation with grounding, as
Mm-hmm.
well as I like to dabble in numerology. So I like to like the numbers that will come up. So I
Yeah.
have a couple of things where, what kind of person are you if you see the number four a lot? We both know that
Yeah.
number four is
That's
like
fun.
the angels are around and
Yes.
stuff. So yeah,
Yes.
there's a couple of
That
things like that.
Yeah, like a heart to heart class, right?
Yes.
That would just be for that. And it's really cool because I think sometimes people may say, "Well, I don't want to learn Reiki, but I want to know what how I can help my pet the best way." And so
Mhm.
teaching that heart to heart connection is really a cool thing to give as a tool, you know?
Sure.
Okay. Um, do you have certain visions for your clients that you want to share or for your business even?
Um, as far as when my clients come to see me, my vision for them is to walk away feeling more grounded, centered, and balanced. And the way they can do that is definitely through a Reiki session, but then they have to continue to take the Reiki with them. And
Mhm.
so whether it be drinking more water, choosing different foods, being out in nature more, so
Mhm.
those kind of things when I'm working with them. I'll also do a lot of many clients are, they're brand new to Reiki, they're brand new to energetic healing. So we'll do
Mhm.
a lot of just discussing what could help them. What are their interests? Like once you
Yeah.
have a love or a passion, that can help you grow
I
spiritually.
I really agree with you. I had a new client the other day and I'm working on her and I kept seeing her painting flowers. And I said, "Do you paint? Do you paint? Do you paint flowers?" She says, "No." She goes, "I do a lot of craft stuff, but I was just wondering if I should go buy some, paints." And I'm like, "Yes, because I'm feeling it and I'm seeing you paint flowers." And she said, "Oh, I love gardens. I love flowers." So it kind of confirmed to me, so that could bring out a joy in someone that they
Mhm.
didn't know they had, and also, like I know you like me when you're working on someone's body, you'll know if there's a fear stuck in their knees or an issue in their shoulder that had to do with something they're carrying for somebody, right? Like the
Yeah.
body holds so much too, right?
Oh, it does. It does. Like and with animals too. Like they'll have different things that are bothering them, and it'll usually be related to some kind of emotion. When
Yeah,
people are newly adopting pets, that's when I'll be called in a lot because it's this transition to a new
yeah,
home, to a new environment. Maybe there's other pets that they got to get used to, things like that. Like, because I know the rescues, they do a lot of work to make sure that there's
yeah.
a smooth transition. But adding Reiki to a pet that has just been newly adopted really helps in their growth.
Yes. I know that you worked at a kennel when you taught Reiki over, at the kennel for my friend of mine. And I think that's a great thing because you were able to send Reiki to the pets that were being rescued or nervous because they were away from their families. So that's another area where I know that that's needed. The other thing is you're so great with horses. If anyone out there, has like race horses or anything like that, Gina's fabulous. So, how can Reiki help, let's say, a racehorse or someone that has a horse that needs some help? What do you find like with horses, that can help them be better equipped for healing?
So horses automatically have this connection with people. They if they haven't been abused. If they've been abused, then of course there's that, trust issue that the Reiki helps them overcome again to be.
Yeah.
But as far as helping horses, they're so intuitive. They just know that this is what they need. Like, and they'll just kind of be like, "Yay, I'm ready for it."
Oh, that's great.
I haven't met a horse that wasn't like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "Nope. Oh,
Yes.
come on over. Come on over. I'll take that."
Yes. Love that. I love that. Do you have any animal Reiki classes scheduled this summer or in the fall?
I usually wait until I have a student. So you always say when the student appears, then the teacher's near, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I plan on putting something out in September
Okay, cool.
for animal Reiki. And so it's just, if you have an interest, then, email me. You can email me at gina@beecalmreiki.com and let me know that you're looking to take a course with me. And then I have them on a Saturday. And so they run from about 10 to 3:30 on the Saturday. And then 6 months later, 3 to 6 months later, we would book the other session. So just to get you started, just dip your big toe in the
I love
water.
it. Gina, what is your website address so people can find you?
It's beecalmreiki.com. So it's BeeCalmreiki.com. So I have a little story with the name of my business. So when I was dating my husband, he was I called him my honeybee or my bee. And so he's my bee and he keeps me calm. And that's where we came up with Bee Calm Reiki. So
Cool. Okay. Let's see what else. Who do you find your main clients are? Are they male, female, or both? And we have like 2 minutes more to go. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, both.
2 minutes.
Mostly female, but I do have a few males that have found me through the internet and just kind of said, I'm like, how did you find me? Oh, just Googled you. And so we made that connection. They're all about the energy is a little different because they're all about what they can feel better. Where females come to me for the emotional release.
Yes. And the females usually bring their husbands along eventually, right? That's why you should get the women will drag them. You got to have a session, that's where I get it. All right. So Gina, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you today. And I'm so happy that you're my buddy and my friend. And I'm so blessed to know you all these years. You're a doll. So I hope people do contact you and, you'll work on them or their pets. And today you've been listening to the Lightwalker's Path, Bold Brave TV. Thank you for spending this time with both of us. And I hope we've both inspired you. Please join us 10 Eastern next week. And we will have Anna on a pre-record. Anna is a fabulous healer as well. And you'll be very interested to listen to her broadcast with me next week on the 9th. So thank you so much, Gina.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Okay, bye.
This has been the Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. Tune in each week at 10 a.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network and delve into your soul's purpose through enlightening discussions, wisdom, and inspirational conversations.